Before we get into Week 13, we have breaking news. The Colts signed tight end Clive Walford. Everybody, it is Week 13 of the NFL season. Again, this has been brought to you by DA Industries, not to be confused with Kramerica Industries. DA Industries deals with exporting and importing, not importing and exporting. And Kramerica didn't even deal with that either. It was, what was it?
That was, Kramerica Industries was the...
No, I know what Kramerica was, but what was the George Costanza's one?
That was,
Vandalay Exports?
Vandalay Industries.
In Vandalay Industries, yeah.
We deal with importing and exporting.
Sure.
And when Elaine called him on it, and she asked, you know, what the deal was, to the girlfriend,
yeah.
She's like, oh, he wanted to focus more on the importing than the exporting.
Sure.
You gotta see the episode.
Sure, you gotta see Seinfeld in general. But here's a game that you definitely needed to see. I was on Thanksgiving.
Yes, it was.
And look, at the end of the day, and I know Mclovein, you weren't, or maybe you were there for the beginning of it. I forget when I called you, but I said that of the three games, the best game, in my opinion, would have been the Cowboy-Redskin game, which I think it was. Because that Bears-Lions game, 9-7 at half, I mean, it's like the Royals playing the Rays in circa 2002, circa 1999. So, you know, Bears win without Trubisky. Blunt, your boy, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it still wasn't enough. Fat Matt Patricia falls to 4-7.
Well, I mean, if anyone watched the game, I thought this was the best game. But that's just, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Sure.
You know, it's a back and forth. Detroit ties it up, I think, with a field goal. And then they get Chicago to punt, and then on the first play, the defensive back for the Bears picks off the Matt Stafford, and then that's the difference in the game. I thought it was a game that the Lions could have won. I thought it was going to go to overtime, but you know, the Bears win again. I think they're 8-3 now.
Yeah. And
you know, the Lions are the Lions. You know, no one can really figure them out. But at the end of the day, I think with Chicago getting another win under their belt, they're well on their way to winning that division.
Yeah, and you look, Cowboys, I said it last week, Cowboys, it's a big game, and here's why I thought this would be the best game. As far as stuff on the line, but also best game in general. Because you figured the Saints would blow out the Falcons, and they kind of did.
They more or less did. It was never really a game.
Correct. And, you know, and then you got, what do you call it? And, you know, in Washington, can they win? This would have been a huge test to see if they could win without Smith, who, by the way, might have a career-ending injury now.
That's what I was telling you last week.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Dallas prevails. They're 6-5. They're tied for first. They technically are in first, but the tiebreakers. And look, it's their division to lose at this point. You know, look, it's almost like, to me, whoever comes out of that division is just going to be happy to make the playoffs, because I don't think they're going to do anything against anybody.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, the Cowboys now, with the element of the new receiver,
Mari
Cooper, he had a big game on Thanksgiving. The two big plays, he just took off and outran the entire defense. Now, one of them, the defensive back fell down, and he just took off. But the second one was like an 80-yard, 90-yard pass play, and he just outran everybody on the defense. Amari Cooper is a special talent. There's a reason why they traded a #1 pick for him. But at the end of the day, if he's healthy, and Prescott, and with Prescott and Elliott and now Cooper, and you have, you know, a couple other nice compliments, Dallas could be a team that you don't want to play in a nothing for them to lose situation. I think now with Washington, losing their quarterback. I think I don't see how that they can win that division with Colt McCoy as a quarterback. It's like Andy said, I think it's Dallas' division to lose now. But it's that, I mean, the way that Dallas is playing right now, it's not a team that anyone wants to play. But they've shown a history of, you know, who I don't know who they're playing this week, but, you know, just playing terrible after a big win. So we'll see.
Yeah. So New Orleans took care of business, 31-17 over the Falcons. And that's pretty much was Thanksgiving. I mean, lackluster Thanksgiving. Really no excitement there unless you're one of the teams that won.
Sure.
And then you had a happy Thanksgiving. And if you were one of the fan bases that lost, you wanted to kill everybody. So, but here's a team that wants to kill everybody. It's Doug Marone's 3-8 Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Bills win. And Josh Allen actually played. I thought it was Matt Barkley. But it was Allen, and look. I mean, these numbers. I mean, this is Blake Bortles-esque. 8 of 19,
Yeah.
160 yards and a touchdown. That's Blake Bortles, but just younger.
Yep.
And the Bills win though because Jacksonville's sorry as fuck.
They're terrible. I was reading online today. The coaches are on the hot seat, and I think they.
Yeah, I did ESPN's article.
Did you read that?
I read the whole thing.
And I think Marone was. I think they had him rated as 5 as probably going to be fired. 4 was, you know, as you can see, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 being, you know, Belichick or Andy Reid. So I think they rated Marone as a 4. In my opinion, I think he should be fired. Coming off of what they expected to be this year, in a game last year in the AFC Championship, which they had every right to win, just to come out this year with the same team and they're just terrible. It's like ever since they beat New England, that was like their Super Bowl, and they've digressed ever since.
Yeah.
But Buffalo, what are they? What are the different records? And it was me against the world in regards to who's a better team, Buffalo or the Jets, and no one took Buffalo. I was the only one. So I think
Buffalo's a game up.
And Buffalo beat them head to head. Not only did they beat them, but they annihilated them. So. All the Jet fans, I would like to see, you know, in the drop down. But what do you say in the
comment section?
In the comment section, we'll see how you feel about it now.
Well, here's somebody I took that nobody took. I think a couple people took him. I took Cleveland to win. I was wrong about the outcome. I thought Cleveland would win by a field goal. They ended up at one point they were up 28. They were up 35-7.
Yeah.
Over Cincy in Cincy, and just when you thought the 4-1 Bengals and Marvin Lewis, I should say, had another life. Here we go. We're tap dancing. It's 35-20, and the Bengals have now lost 5 of their last 6.
And they are
done. Yeah. Baker Mayfield ain't done though. 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. Everybody was freaking out that they took him overall. It's probably the best thing they did because of all the quarterbacks right now in the league from that draft. It's nowhere close. Mayfield look. It's not like Baker Mayfield went to, I don't know, a Pittsburgh Steelers team that had just one horrific season due to rash of injuries and then ended up getting a first-round pick and took him, and you knew he was going to do well because of all the pieces around him. He went to the Browns.
Sure.
And the Browns, even though they're 4-6-1, we talked about this early in the season, they could be like 9-2-1.
They could.
Or whatever the hell. And it's not like, well, if they didn't give up 900 yards in that game. No, it's not so far away. They're close in every game they play. And I think the future's, you're a Cleveland Browns fan, the future's pretty bright for you.
For the first time
in 20 years. Yeah. Speaking of the first time in 20 years, the fucking Patriots barely got by the Jets. It was 13-13 midway through the third quarter in New York. This is the worst 8-3 football team in the NFL. I mean, think about it. It's not like, look, they end up doing what they always do. They end up beating the Jets by multiple touchdowns. But with the Jets as bad as they are, the game should not have been 13-13 midway through the third. And you had Rob Gronkowski playing, and you had Sony Michel playing. You had a great game, 133 yards rushing. Thank God. You know, but again, it's the Jets, so we'll see. Look, at the end of the day, if they can make it to the Super Bowl this year, I'll give them a hell of a season.
I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl this year. I honestly don't. Look, they've had their losses are bad losses. They've played a couple complete games, and one of them, thankfully, was against Kansas City. They played a complete game against a good Green Bay team.
And Houston.
And Houston.
They're lucky they have those 2 tiebreakers right now because they could be on the outside looking in and hosting a divisional game, wild card game.
At the end of the day, they still have a couple challenges. They have Minnesota, I think, at home this week.
Yep, Sunday.
And then they have at Pittsburgh, and it seems like this is a year. It's a yearly game. They might as well be in the same division because they play every year, Pittsburgh and New England. And at Pittsburgh, it seems like during the regular season, it's always at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And they always seem to play well, but we'll see. That will be the last test before the playoffs. And if somehow they can run the table and finish 11 or 12-3, and Kansas City slips up, they could be the #1 seed. So at any point in time, this team they could be a legitimate 4 seed, but they could also be the 1 seed. And I think that has a lot to do with because you don't know which team is coming out with the Patriots. But I think at the end of the day, I don't see them running the table, but I hope they do. I hope they're the #1 seed. But Minnesota should be a good test for them this week.
It'll be a good test. So will what do you call it?
I don't know.
Pittsburgh.
Oh well, yeah. That's going to be the ultimate test.
Yeah. The ultimate test of wills. Speaking of the ultimate test of wills, the Eagles were down 19-3 to the Giants. My pick looked great. And then me and Big Shill were talking about this.
Yeah, Slim
Shill. And he says to me, the Giants threw this game.
He told me that.
Because they want to get a better draft pick. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you throw the game now when you just won 2 in a row and we're going for it, and you're up 19-3, you have a chance at the division, because Washington just have their quarterback on for the year. Why would you say, you know what, we've won 2 in a row, we're 3-7. We win this, we're 4-7. The Eagles are now 4-7.
Sure.
We're only 2 games out with 5 to go.
Sure. Washington
and Dallas. Washington has no quarterback. Dallas is the Detroit Lions of the NFCs, where they don't know where they're going to beat a great team. They lose to a shitty one. So why would you say, you know what? Let's throw out OBJ. Let's just not play in the second half. Let's give Saquon Barkley 3 carries in the second half because we want a better draft pick. If that's the way you wanted to go, you would have done that against San Francisco and Tampa. You would have just said, fuck it. You would have thrown in whoever the fuck it was, and you don't care about the backlash of Eli Manning not playing because it doesn't fucking matter. You already had, Eli Manning had everybody go, oh, Eli, oh, it's okay, and the public outrage, and because you had to, because of everything he's done for the franchise. But enough's enough. You have no offensive line. It's battered. So is Eli. There's no sense in him playing. It's like Brett Favre at the end of his career. He's playing because his name's Brett Favre. And your other option at that point is some schmuck. And so you throw the schmuck in because you want to get a better draft pick, fine. So so I told Slim Shill, I said, I don't think this makes sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense. I mean, look, the players who are playing the game that are involved in the competing aren't thinking like fans. Okay, NFL players, there's too many variables for a team to be up 19-3 and just say, you know what, let's throw it in, let's just lose this game. Okay, these are still these are athletes, these are professional athletes, they've been competing for children. I don't think at any point in time, if the head coach went to them and said, we're going to throw this game, and it was found out, he would have been fired. I don't buy that at all. They just choked, and that's the reason why they're so bad this year, is they've been in about 80% of the games, they can't finish. And this is a game that they should have won, that it was over. I considered this game over. And then I look up and, Philly, they came out of nowhere and came back, but they didn't throw this game.
No.
And I think that it's a non-argument.
The question, though, is, and I agree with you, I don't think they threw it, but then why bench Saquon, basically, why bench OBJ for a second half when you're up 19-3? Did you want to rest them just because you thought you were going to win and you didn't want them to get injured because you're on this comeback trail?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly...
It's like a Malcolm Butler situation.
I don't know. They must have said something or done something, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? But Tampa, a huge win over the Niners. Jameis Winston played all right. Dirk Cutter, by the way, in the ESPN article, he's gone. So 4-7, you might as well have your last hurrah and never look back. Against a horrible 49ers team.
Yep.
Brady's still playing well for the 49ers, though, 100 yards rushing. And Z just sent me something. I don't know what the hell this is about. Let's see. Crypto deal, of course. All right, next game. Not to be have anything to do with cryptocurrency. We've got the Seahawks. I picked them to win.
Yep.
They won. Also against the spread. But they came back. I mean, they were down. It was 13-10 Carolina at the half. It was 20-17 Carolina, and then Seattle came back in the 4th and 1. Carolina. Speaking of which, Peter King on Mad Dog. I don't think he was on. Was he? He was on Mad Dog yesterday. He's talking about the fan, not the fan base, but the ownership. Even though it's a new ownership group, because what's his face gave it away Richardson because of all the shenanigans with him. But they love Rivera. Rivera's not going anywhere. They could miss the playoffs, and he's not going anywhere. So, you know,
I think he's a good coach. I think he's done well there.
He's done well, but in 8 years, he's only been in the playoffs 3 times. One year was the Super Bowl when they lost, but you know, to a Denver team that was just unbelievably great defensively, and a washed-up Peyton Manning throwing the ball like he's 90,
like glasses,
like Archie, like glasses. Look at me over here, and then you throw the ball, and it goes 2 feet in front of him. And it goes 2 feet in front of him as he gives it a heave-ho. Okay. But yeah, Carolina, they could miss the playoffs now, and they're loaded. That's another team that's underachieved. You got McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. You got Danos Oikos yogurt there.
Cam
Newton with his Oikos yogurt and everything else. And when he lifts his arms, all the muscles come out, so it allows him to play well on the football field because he ate his yogurt. It takes place at the old milk commercials from Michael Jordan back in the day.
Sure.
And Anthony Hardaway for 3.
Yep.
Ravens, another huge win. John Harbaugh misses the playoffs. He's done, based on that ESPN article. If he makes the playoffs, he may have saved his job for a little bit, and you got to hold from Lamar Jackson, who the Pats should have taken and didn't.
Yep.
For no reason other than to just...
Big-time quarterback.
Yep. Look, at the end of the day, he's a poor man's Michael Vick. Michael Vick could throw the ball.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball. He's like Tim Tebow with the ball, but he can run.
Sure.
And so at the end of the day, how long is that? You know, we've seen this happen before. Mm-hmm. They get injured. Circa, what's his face on Washington? I forget his name already now.
Where?
What the guy fucking Robert Griffin III.
Oh, God.
Gets injured and then bye Charlie.
Yeah, but there's
Deshaun Watson can throw though.
But there's they're all the same type of quote unquote quarterback, but each one of them is built different mentality wise. And I think Lamar Jackson is going to be a good quarterback. I think everyone likes him because they're so sick of Flacco. I think Flacco has worn out his welcome there. He won them a Super Bowl, and I think it's time for go. I don't know what his cap number is next year. It's something ridiculous.
Yeah, they're not going to. He's. Yeah. I mean, at this point, you're 2-0 with Jackson.
Yeah.
Close games, 2-0.
But it's a win.
And he's a win, and he's not making mistakes like Flacco. You know, and Flacco is. You know, he reminds me of a poor man's Jay Cutler, where it seems like he just doesn't give a shit. And Ray Lewis called him out, said he doesn't just give a shit. It seems like he doesn't give a shit.
Sure.
And then he, you know, you go on the defensive and say, oh, of course I care, but you don't fucking show it because I'm not an emotional guy.
Yeah.
I don't care. Athletes are athletes, and you may not show it, but you know, like an athlete who gives a shit knows whether it's vocal or not by the actions of the other player. So even in the event, if he's like a J.D. Drew, as an example, J.D. Drew gave a shit. He just didn't show he gave a shit, but he really gave a shit. He's just not a guy who's vocal. Joe Flacco, I don't think gives a shit.
Well, that's what it's. I mean, that's perception, and some people say perception is reality, or perception is everything. And we as fans, you know, we think that we know what their players are thinking. We think that we can tell, and the underlying issue is that we just hope and pray to God that these players care as much as the fans do about what's going on. And I hate to tell you, but very rarely do the players care as much as the fans do. Okay, unfortunately, in this day and age, you know, a guy's not going to play if he thinks he's going to get hurt, and the fan is upset because this is, so for some people, this is all they have. You know, very rarely are you going to have a Tom Brady, a guy who really cares and goes out and plays like he really cares. More often than not, you're going to have a player that you're going to scream and yell at because at the end of the game he's smiling and chuckling and cutting it up with someone on the other team after they just lost a heartbreaker. And you're sitting there as a fan, you're screaming and you're yelling, you're breaking everything in sight, and you're wondering why this player who could have done a better job is now having fun and laughing that the game is over. So,
because at the end of the day, they go home to their mansion,
right.
They fuck their girlfriend, and that's the end of the drill. I mean, that's what it is. And we all wish we could be in that situation.
Sure.
But we can't. And, you know, and speaking of situations we all wish we could have been in. Arizona. Now, I had the Chargers as part of a parlay, just to win. And they finally did. But when it's 10-0, Arizona after one, I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are we doing here? And then Phillip Rivers decided to show up, set an NFL record, tied an NFL record, most completions in a row. I think Rich Gannon had that record, if I'm not mistaken.
Rich Gannon.
Yeah, old friend Rich Gannon from the 02 Raiders there. And,
MVP.
Yeah. And look, 45-10 later, Chargers moved to 8-3, and they're a dangerous team. I think they're inconsistent offensively, but their defense is damn good.
Their offense, it can spark at any point in time.
Sure, and so can the Steelers, but they're
Correct.
inconsistent. Is all I'm saying. Look, the Steelers barely got by Jacksonville. Is my point. After they scored 50 points.
Wait, okay. I thought you were still talking about the Chargers.
No, I am. I'm saying that they're inconsistent. Chargers offense can be explosive. I'm not denying. But consistently every single week, no. And let's see if I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
No. I'm not.
No, I'm not saying you are. I could be wrong.
Combating.
I could be wrong. Let's just look at their sky. Ready? Here we go. As Pat looks up in the sky like, I just want to get through this. I don't give a shit. I can see out of the corner of my eye.
That's not true.
Okay, it's not true because you can't prove that it is or not.
But you can't prove that it is.
That's true.
And I'm telling you that it's not.
All right, so 20 points against the Raiders, 22 against the Broncos. Broncos have a good defense, fine. 25 against the Seahawks, 20 against the Titans. So we're in the 20s here. 26 again against the Raiders, 29 against the Niners, 23 against the Rams.
Go to the stats. Just go to the yearly stats.
Well, where do I go there?
It should.
Stats?
Yeah.
Is it going to tell us how they are in the?
It should be.
So Rivers, I mean.
It should be team statistics.
Oh, I got to go. I'm on the Chargers website. That's why.
No, just go to team. Go to team. Right
here?
There. Yeah.
Okay. So. I mean, I don't know what this is telling me here.
So.
It doesn't have rankings, is my point. It doesn't. It just says Chargers versus their opponents.
Well, you can get rankings on NFL.com.
Yeah, well, we'll do that later in the show. But at the end of the day, chart for an offense that could be as explosive as they can be, more often than not, they're under 30 points a game. 45 is the highest of the season against a horrific Arizona team. It's gone 28, 31, 23, 29, 26. They had 38 against the Browns. 20, 25, 20, 22. So, look, at the end of the day, here we go. Team stats. 273 passing yards a game. That's not a lot. 128 rushing yards is pretty damn good. They've scored 27.9 points a game. They've given up 19. That's going to win you games. At the end of the day, that'll win you some games, is what I'm saying over here. Like Glasses would say over there. And so, Colts, Chargers 8-3. Broncos, huge comeback win. Didn't see this coming. Nobody picked the Broncos except a few of you, just because you could say I knew they would win, because we can't argue that if you didn't pick them, then you would have said I didn't pick them because I knew they would lose. So, good for you, but you didn't really know that. And if you did, next time you guys put something in the comment section below. And we're talking about our picks. and you're talking about, well, you know, let's say it's, I don't know, Browns versus the Saints, and you have the Browns winning. You fucking put down why you think so. So that way I can on the show say, you know what? This guy picked the Browns, this girl picked the Browns. There's their reason for it. Absolutely 100,000% good job by you.
Yep.
Instead of saying in the comment section, well, I was the only one who picked them. I'm a genius. No, because you fucking did it just in the off chance that you were right. You could say, look at me. And then if you weren't right, oh, it was just a feeling. Yeah. So we all know the game. Okay? Broncos, huge win. If you're a Pats fan, it's a huge win. If you're a Chiefs fan, it's a huge win. If you are a Chargers fan, it's a huge win.
Yep.
So Steelers lose, unacceptable loss to a team that they should not have lost to, and I get Denver's tough, it's mile high and everything else, but look, Broncos are in the look, we'll go over the standings in a moment to see everybody, but they're in the hunt, so are the Dolphins after they lose a heartbreaker to the Colts. I had the Colts minus 5.5, the fucking assholes win by 3, so there goes my parlay out the door. Andrew Luck, he could be comeback player of the year, he's got to be. And by the way, I was talking about Matt Nagy, I think, last week about possibly being coach of the year. I think like 9 other people agreed with me on Peter King's show that they think he will win the award.
Well, they have to finish it out, but yeah.
I think that's going to happen. Vikings, huge lot win. They needed that one. Packers are pretty much done. Although, again, Aaron Rodgers was at the podium saying, hey, we can still win out, and here's how we're going to do it. But Mike McCarthy, he's done. Everybody in Green Bay wants him gone. I think he's done. He should be done. He hasn't really gotten a backing from Rodgers. You know, at the end of the day, look, there's no excuse for the Packers to be talking about disappointments.
Yeah.
Packers 4-6-1, 0-6 on the road.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
And that's the thing. It's more frustrating than they're in all of these games. They're in every single one of them, and they always lose by 3, by a touchdown. They jump out earlier. You think to the Packers of old, and then at the end of the game, they fall asleep and they lose these games. I mean, they could easily beat the Vikings. They could easily beat the Seahawks. They could easily beat the Rams. You know, they could easily beat. Off the top of my head, they could have come back and beat Detroit. They lost to Detroit. I mean, those are 4 games that they legitimately could have won, and that changes the whole season. So I think ultimately it's a reflection on the head coach when you lose games like that. But granted, you know, I do believe that McCarthy hasn't, you know, been given a lot of talent. But anytime that you have, you know, Aaron Rodgers, and as much as I love Aaron Rodgers, you know, everyone says he's the most talented quarterback in the NFL. I'm sick of hearing it. He's not. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL. Tom Brady's the best quarterback in the NFL, and for some reason they still put Aaron Rodgers in there. Tom Brady would never lose these games, okay? He would never continue to lose close games. Brady finds a way to win. Rodgers finds a way to lose.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's Rodgers finding a way to lose. Here's the deal.
Well, he doesn't win.
He doesn't, yeah, but all right, I'll give you an example. Tom Brady did everything he could in that Super Bowl, right? But he didn't win it. Did he not win the game? Or did the fucking defense lose the game for him? How many times has Rodgers come back and beaten teams, Hail Marys and shit, that should never happen ever? He's won some close ones. However, I think that it's really on McCarthy. Because at the end of the day, who calls the offensive plays? Is it McCarthy?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. They got rid of what's-his-face, the GM there, Knutson, or whatever the fuck his name is, some weird-ass name. They get rid of, what's-his-face who signs with Oakland, okay? Their GM. They got rid of the white guy. White receiver, Julian Edelman type.
Oh, Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson, all right? And they get rid of him. No, their GM, yeah, their GM Knutson, or whatever his name is.
Their GM's Ted Thompson.
No, it's not. Ted Thompson's gone.
When did he get fired?
Like 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their GM is some weird German last name guy. Okay, correct me in the. I know I got it wrong, but correct me in the comment section what his real name is. I'm just calling him Knutson for this bit here. But at the end of the day, get rid of Jordy Nelson. They signed the tight end from Seattle. Jimmy Graham done nothing.
He's washed up.
Yeah. Okay, so they have, you know, I don't know if Lacey's still on the team or not.
No,
I know Aaron Jones is. At the end of the day, it's not like they're offensively anemic like the Titans are. At the end of the day, they have the talent. They should not be 4-6-1. Look, I'll give you an example. Remember the guy in the playoffs there, the guy onside kick. All he has to do is cover the ball. It bounces off him in the playoffs. Yeah. The guy they fucking jettisoned to...
Look, I mean, what I'm saying is, and maybe I didn't explain it well enough for some people. Okay. At the end of the day, the quarterback, it's the win-loss is just like a starting pitcher. It's when you look at the win-losses, you look at Tom Brady, you look at the major quarterbacks, Drew Brees, whether or not it's their fault or the defense's fault or the special team's fault. At the end of the day, the record is associated with a top-tier quarterback. Now, you're not gonna look at Lamar Jackson. Or, I don't know, give me another mid-level quarterback and say.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you break down records and by quarterback, and they say they're the greatest of all time, and they're the greatest out there, and they're the greatest this and that, you need to put them compared side by side, and the records aren't even close. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that
I don't think anybody's saying, look, there are some people that are saying Rodgers is the best quarterback of all time, yes. The majority of people are saying he's the most talented quarterback right now, talent-wise.
Okay, but either way,
well, talent's different than
I understand that. I understand that. I'm just saying
we
that
could say Jacob DeGrom.
If you're looking at Green Bay, you win or lose, and it's tied to the quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna split hairs, you got to look at their playoff record, their record during the regular season. Their comeback wins, everything you got to put in there, and Rodgers, I bet you would have an under 500 record in playoffs, and late games overall, because like I'm saying, this year all I said was there were 4 or 5 games this year that Tom Brady would not allow the Patriots to lose, and that's the difference between Brady and Rodgers.
Texans set an NFL record for most wins after 0-3 start in the history of the league. They won their 8th, and they should have, and they did, against a Titans team that's floundering and going away. Vrabel's done a pretty damn good job, and in that article, he's the least likely to get fired of anybody.
That's only because the alphabetical order.
Okay, so Belichick was first, and then...
No, Belichick wasn't first.
Who was it? Who was?
Well, whoever the team is you mean the safest?
Yeah, I'm talking about, so Vrabel's last because his last name is V?
No,
or because of the Titans?
because of Tennessee Titans.
Okay, that's how they did it?
Yeah, it wasn't by,
okay.
It wasn't by safe or not safe.
All right, well, here's the deal. A couple weeks ago, and I forgot to go over this last week, and only yes to anything that is cool, awesome, try to guess this. But in our little beginning there, when we said my guy and everything else, he made a guess. I forget what the hell he said.
Yeah.
Now, could it be technically true what he said? I guess, but that's not what we were looking for. The correct answer to that little game was Adam Shine.
Who did he guess?
I have to go look now. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Let's see here. We go to... He guessed... Let me go to my my deal here. And it was 2 weeks ago. Yes to anything that is cool, awesome. You guessed. It's like welcome to your life. Let's see here. We have, it was last week, and then this is the 2 weeks ago one. All right, and is it down here? It should be. Let's see what we got. Or was it 3 weeks ago?
It was not last week, but the week before.
All right, so so it was 2 weeks ago. See where he guessed it. I'm trying to find it here. Here we go. In the beginning, when you asked who says that, is it the Fantasy Footballers? Never heard of them. I'm sure they're a YouTube group or maybe a podcast or who knows. But no, it's not the Fantasy Footballers, although they might have. The correct answer we're looking for is Adam Shine. Adam Shine is the correct answer to that. So, last week,
You're going to do the standings?
we are going to do the standings, but last week against the spread.
Not our standings, but the NFL
Yeah, the NFL standings.
Okay.
Yeah. But last week against the spread, me and Mclovein tied. We both went 8-7. I still have a 2-game lead over him. So if we update that, I think, let's see. I am now, he was 64, 60, wait a minute now, 71. So 8-7, I am now 79. 7 is 76. No, that's not right. Yeah, it is 79, 76, and 5. And Mclovein is now 75. No. 2-game lead. 69 and 8, 77. My bad. 77, 79. 78. That can't be right. Yep. 77, 78, and 5. So, I'm 79, 76, and 5. He is 77, 78, and 5. That's against the spread. And we're in week 13, so there's, 4 more weeks here I could have a shot. It's mine to lose. But let's go into the NFL standings right here, and let's talk about the playoff picture. And at the end of the day, here's where we're at. This thing loads. Let's go to the playoff deal. Okay, is this going to work, or what are we doing here? Apparently not. This is stupid. Thank you, ESPN. Wow. Let's see if it opens up in a new tab.
You have to click on
It was not loading. Here we go. All right, so the Chiefs right now have the #1 seed in the AFC. They're 9-2.
Yep.
Pats are second. Thank God. They have the tiebreaker over Houston with a head-to-head win percentage. So 8-3. Houston's the 3 seed. Pittsburgh is the 4 seed at 7-3-1. And then the Chargers are 5th. And then the Ravens right now are 6th. And they have the tiebreaker over the Colts based on best win percentage in conference games. So right now, if the season ended today, you'd have Kansas City and New England with byes. It'd be Baltimore going to Houston. That'd be a tough game for Houston, I think. And then the Chargers going to Steelers. That'd be a huge game.
That'd be a great game.
It'd be a hell of a. That'd probably be the best game of the first week for the AFC at least. Dolphins are in the hunt. They're a game out.
Yep.
They have the tiebreakers over the Bengals, Denver, and Tennessee based on best win percentage in conference games.
Okay.
Bengals are 5-6. They obviously have the tiebreaker over Denver and Tennessee. Denver's 5-6. Tennessee's 5-6. The Browns are 4-6-1. The Browns are only 2 games out of a playoff spot.
The Browns are going to have to run the table to even be in the conversation.
Yeah, I agree with that, sure.
But I think it's fair to say that the top 5 seeds, the 5 out of 6 seeds in the AFC, are more or less spoken for.
Yeah, they
and
can.
I think it's going to come down to one spot with probably
the Colts and the Ravens. I don't think the Dolphins are going to have. I don't think the Dolphins have a shot.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Well, I don't. I mean,
Denver.
I think all 3 of them have shown signs of playing well, but also shown signs of not playing well, and that's why they're sitting there at 6-5. They're virtually, they're 500 teams. But with that being said, I mean, you could really analyze, the schedule's going, for the rest of the year. But if I were to have to take my pick, I would pick the Colts to win that. I think the Colts are.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think the Colts have the best shot of any of them to get that last playoff spot. And I'm picking the Colts out of the Ravens, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Broncos, the Titans, and the Browns, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with that 100%. All right, NFC, we got the Saints, the #1 seed because they beat the Rams. Rams are 2, both have byes. Bears are 3rd, 8-3. Dallas is now 4th because they have a tiebreaker over Washington and best win percentage in division games. The Vikings are the 5th seed, and the Redskins right now are the 6th seed. And Seattle, they have the tiebreaker over Seattle based on win percentage in conference games, and they have the tiebreaker over Carolina based on a head-to-head sweep.
I believe that. I don't think Washington.
Washington's going to not make the playoffs.
I don't believe so as of right now. Now you got to look at, obviously the Saints, and you would figure the Bears and the Rams are virtual locks for 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
No one really knows who's going to win that NFC East, but you figure that whoever wins that NFC East, they're going
to be the 4th seed. They're going to be locked.
They have to. Yeah, that's it. And then 5. I mean, there's legitimately 2 spots open. The 2 wild card spots are as open as I've seen in a while in a conference. Seattle's right there. Carolina's right there. Unbelievably, Philly's still in the hunt. You know, a lot of things can happen, and you know that's good for the NFL. Is that these teams, you know, they're with all of the NFL, there's going to be really 3 wild card spots open that, you know, these last 4 or 5 weeks are going to come down to.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of the week to see the standings. We had one guy, other than EDP, by the way. EDP went 13-2 last week.
No shit.
Yeah, he had a hell of a week. There was also another guy you'll see in bold. I think it was Amazement, and I don't have the standings in front of me because stupidly I emailed myself the wrong fucking copy. Oh, so Slim Shill's driving up right now to let me into work so I can email myself so I can upload this into the video. But so he's on his way over. But at the end of the day, I think it was Amazement, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he went 13-2. So great job to him, and whoever went 13-2, and you'll see in the standings, they actually propelled themselves into first place. Wow. Overall, they have a game lead over III Eagle and someone else. So it's down to the wire here. This ain't no you know, junior varsity situation. We got, you know, everyone and their mother battling for that top spot to win that money. Right now, it looks like somebody other than Mclovein will win because I think you're 10 or 11 games out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great job to whoever ends up winning that. Last year, I think it was CV Gunn, was it not?
Well, we tied, I believe. And he ultimately won the tie.
Oh, that's right. No, that was 2 years ago, was it not?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was last year CV Gunn won, and 2 years ago it was a tiebreaker situation. Okay, so let's go right on into this week now. Shill says he can't come, fucking asshole. So I'm going to have to figure this out. I don't know how I'm going to get in there. I'm going to have to do it early tomorrow morning and then upload this shit tomorrow morning. But Thursday, tomorrow night's game, we have the New Orleans Saints favored 10-1, 5-0 on the road, going into Dallas to face the 6-5, 4-1 at home Cowboys. New Orleans favored by 7.5.
They keep on scoring points. I'll take Dallas plus 7.5.
Now I'm taking the Saints. You have Dallas. All right, then we have Sunday's games. We have the Baltimore Ravens, 6-5, 2-3 on the road. This is a must-win for both teams, really. Well, not really Atlanta, they're done. But Atlanta's at home, 4-7, 3-3 at home. Atlanta favored by 1 at home.
Baltimore, +1.
Taking Atlanta, I think they're going to win this. It's close, though, but I think they'll win. Denver, 5-6, 2-3 on the road. This is a huge game for both teams. Going into Cincinnati, 5-6, 3-3 at home. It's a battle to propel themselves into a playoff push. Denver on the road favored by 5.
Denver -5.
Taking Cincy.
I hate Cincinnati.
I hate them too, but I think Cincinnati will win. I think they're going to win the game. I think they'll win the game. We'll see. LA Rams 10-1, 4-1 on the road, going to face Fat Matt Patricia and Paul Pasqualone's at 4-7, 3-3 at home. 10-point favorites of the Rams.
Lions +10.
Ooh, taking the Rams. Cardinals 2-9, 1-4 on the road with Steve Wilkes, otherwise known as the brother of Todd Bowles. And then you got Packers 4-6-1, 4-0-1 at home. Green Bay. Oh, this is an easy one. Green Bay's favored by 14.
So many points.
So you would figure you took the Chargers last week and they got molested by 30. They outscored by 35 unanswered points.
I took the Chargers and they
took
won.
The Chargers. No, you didn't. Chargers were plus.
Chargers won by 35.
I'm sorry, not Chargers. Oh, you took the Chargers. I thought you took the Cardinals plus the points.
No.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn you did.
No.
All right.
No, that's incorrect.
All right. Well, that's incorrect.
That's a bad job. Give me the Cardinals plus 14.
All right. This is
that's
tough.
too much. I don't.
Green Bay's offense is so.
I don't think Green Bay's that good.
They're not, but is Arizona that bad?
Arizona's terrible.
You're taking Arizona. I'm going to take Green Bay. And I'm probably going to regret it. Buffalo, 4-7, 2-4 on the road, going in to face the Dolphins, 5-6, 4-1 at home. Dolphins are favored by 4.5.
Oh, God. Dolphins -4.5.
Yeah, we agree on that. Chicago Bears 8-3, 3-2 on the road, going in to face the Giants 3-8, 1-4 at home. No line on this. So as of now, we're just going to say Giants -3.
The Giants -3?
Well, there's no line. So remember, there's no line. We've always done the home team favorite by 3.
So give me Chicago +3.
So we both agree on that. Then we got the Carolina Panthers 6-5, 1-4 on the road, going in to face Tampa 4-7, 3-2 at home. Carolina favored by 3.5.
Carolina -3.5.
Taking Tampa. Colts 6-5, 2-3 on the road, going in to face Jacksonville 3-8, 2-4 at home. Colts favored by 4.
Colts -4.
We agree. Cleveland 4-6-1, 1-4 on the road, going in to face Houston 8-3, 4-1 at home. Houston favored by 5.5.
Cleveland +5.5.
Taking Houston. 4:05 game. Jets 3-8, 1-4 on the road, going in to face the Titans 5-6, 3-1 at home. Tennessee favored by 7.5 at home against the Jets.
Oof. Jets +7.5.
I agree. Kansas City 9-2, 4-2 on the road, going in to face the Raiders 2-9, 1-4 at home. Kansas City favored by 15.
Oh my god.
This is a 7-point teaser all day in a part.
Oakland
Ooh, taking Kansas City. 4:25 game. We got the Minnesota Vikings 6-4-1, 2-2-1 on the road, going to Foxborough. Face the Pats 8-3, 5-0 at home. Pats favored by 5.
New England -5.
We'll take Minnesota. And then we have the 49ers 2-9, 0-6 on the road, going in to face the Seahawks 6-5, 2-2 at home. Seattle favored by 9.5.
San Francisco +9.5.
I agree. The Sunday night game with the Chargers 8-3, 4-1 on the road, going to face Pittsburgh 7-3-1, 3-2 at home. Good Sunday night game for once. Pittsburgh favored by 3.5 at home.
That's a playoff.
That could be the fucking preview of the first round.
Pittsburgh is
favored by 3.5 at home.
Chargers +3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to change my pick to the Chargers as well. I wrote down Pittsburgh, but I'm switching to the Chargers. In the Monday night's game, I'm only going to watch it because of EDP, but we got Washington 6-5, 3-2 on the road, going into Philly 5-6, 3-3 at home. Philly favored by 6.5.
Washington +6.5.
I'm taking Philly there. All right, that's a hell of a. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games again that we differ on. So that'll be interesting to see.
There's 16 games this week.
There are.
So they're back to everyone.
Everyone's playing. Everyone's had their bye. Yeah, everyone's had their bye. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go right on into Daw's favorite part of the show. He not only does he like the jingle, but he likes this part of the deal when EDP comes at us with another video.
Yeah.
And here we go. EDP, big winner of the week last week, 13-2, man. So we'll see what we got. What's up, man? This is our favorite part of. We got Mclovein here. We got EDP. EDP, you went 13-2 last week. You were number 1 last week.
Because I'm a fucking gangster. Shit, I told y'all niggas that same thing.
and Da appreciates the fact that you went 13-2. But here we go. We got some big games on the horizon this week. So let's go right on into them. And we got the first game. We got tomorrow night. We got the Saints going in to face the Cowboys. Who do you got?
Cowboys.
I'm taking the Saints.
New Orleans.
Mcloveин's taking New Orleans too. Then we got Baltimore going in to face Atlanta on Sunday. Who do you got?
Baltimore.
I'm taking Atlanta.
Baltimore.
And Mclovein's also taking Baltimore EDP. Then we
got shit from Baltimore forever. Holy fuck.
Yeah. Then we got Denver going in to face Cincinnati. Who do you got?
Denver.
Mclovein and you pick Denver. I'm picking Cincy.
Oh boy.
Then we got the Rams going in to face Fat Matt Patricia and the Lions. Who do you got?
The Rams.
Yeah.
Rams.
Well, we all took the Rams. Cardinals going in to face Green Bay. Who do you got?
Cardinals. They have been upset in the fucking years.
Green Bay.
Yep. We both take Green Bay. EDP takes Cardinals. We got Buffalo going in to face Miami. Who do you got?
Miami.
Yeah, we all take Miami there. Then we got Chicago going in to face the Giants. Who do you got?
No, fuck Chicago. I'm sorry. I had to think about that for a second. Chicago.
Yep, we all take Chicago. Then we got Carolina going in to face Tampa. Who do you got?
Carolina.
Taking Tampa. I think Carolina's fucking in trouble. We got the Colts going in to face the Jaguars. Who do you got?
Colts.
All right, we all have the Colts. Browns going in to face Houston. Who do you got?
Browns.
Houston.
Me and Mclovein take Houston. EDP takes the Browns.
Hey, man, y'all motherfuckers laughed last week and look what the fuck happened.
No, I took Cleveland last week. It was me and you. Mclovein laughed at us last week.
I didn't laugh at you. We weren't on the same call.
Oh, that's right. We weren't on the same call.
So I didn't do. Let's get our facts straight here. I wasn't even on the call.
He wasn't even on. He's right. He wasn't on the call.
I wouldn't have laughed at you with that.
Jets going in to face Tennessee. Who do you got?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, we all take Tennessee. Tennessee. Kansas City going in to face Oakland.
Oh, fuck. Kansas City. Oh,
Kansas
my God.
City.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's going to be a raping. And then we got Minnesota going in to face the Pats in Foxborough.
Oh, of course it's in fucking Foxborough. Yeah, I'll fucking... Tie. Fuck it, I don't know.
All right, you take pulling tie, and we both have New England. And then we have the 49ers going in to face the Seahawks.
That's going to be a fucking blowout, dude. I'm going to take Seattle, dude.
Seattle.
All right, we all take Seattle. This is the best game of Sunday, in my opinion. We got the Chargers going in to face the Steelers. Sunday night game, you get your Leo's pastrami fries and a fucking Mountain Dew.
Dude, I fucking hate chili fries. I can't eat that shit, dude. That shit fucking me up. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Pittsburgh.
I'm also taking the Chargers. Pittsburgh for Mclovein and then Chargers for EDP. And then Monday night's game, your Eagles at home against Washington.
I'm sorry. I'm taking the Eagles.
Washington.
Wow, you're taking Washington?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, McLovin's taking Washington. That's interesting. I'm taking the Eagles. I don't think Washington's going to win with a fucking Colt McCoy. In Philly, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen only because you guys pulled one out of your ass last week to save your season. And here's the deal now. This is interesting. EDP, this is extremely interesting. Now pay attention to this. Tomorrow night, New Orleans should beat Dallas. They should. And if they do, and if the Eagles beat the Redskins Monday night, you guys could be in first place at 6-6.
That's fucking shit.
So we'll see what happens there.
You know the fucking Eagles, man. I mean, they'll fucking, New Orleans will beat Dallas, and then we'll fucking lose. What the fuck else, man?
Sure. So EDP, thanks a lot for being on the show again. We appreciate you, and we'll see what happens Monday night. Your Eagles could be back from the dead at 6-6 and in first with the division in their hands. So.
Yeah, that's some fucking shit, right? Fuck.
All right, man. We'll see you.
All right, see ya.
All right, man. Catch you later.
All right, guys. Again, Week 13's in the bag. Thanks for watching, and say hi to everyone at home. And it's been real, man.
Okay.
All right.